and welcome to your third class of intermediate lesson. So we've been covering parts of speech. We already saw nouns, and we already saw adjectives. Today's lesson is going to be about verbs, and this is going to take a little bit of time. We're going to have several lessons regarding verbs. Why? Because verbs are a more complicated topic because they have a lot of variations. So we know that verbs are actions in every form. We can walk, run, sleep, rest, do anything that's considered an action is considered a verb. Okay? But we have linking verbs, we have auxiliary verbs, we have main verbs. And we're going to be covering all of them in the following lessons. Right now, what we're going to be covering is the big picture. So, we have verbs in the past, present, and future, right? We have verbs and they have a lot of variations in those tenses. So we're going to be covering first the main basic tense, that's verb to be. So verb to be, it's easy. Verb to be means that it's the am self part of the verb. Verb to be is very, very clear. Is we use it a ton of times in our sentences, but that will be our first tense, verb to be. Something that we have to be very clear also is that we have regular verbs and we have irregular verbs. So in this case, when we talk about regular verbs and irregular verbs means that we can use them in different tenses, in past, in the present, and the future. And we have regular verbs that when we change in each of the tenses, they are the same. And irregular verbs is that when we change them into different tenses, they can change their nature. What do I mean by this? So let's talk about infinitive verbs. Infinitive verbs are in Spanish infinitivo, the ones that end with ar. In Spanish is caminar, pelear, right? In English, we have the infinitive verbs like this: walk, talk, run, sleep in their basic form. And you're gonna find a list down below of regular verbs. Okay? Those verbs, when we change them into the past, they change and we have them with ed at the end. For example, walk in the infinitive verb becomes walked, ed, walked. You can see walked. We don't say walk it, walked. We are like not pronouncing the e, walked. Okay? We're not saying walk it. Okay? Then we say, we can say play. We don't say play it, we say played. Played. Okay? The same thing. We don't pronounce the e. Played. Make sense? So when we have regular verbs, all of those verbs come to the past. They end with ed. Most of them end with ed. When we're talking about irregular verbs, we are going to see them change in their structure. For example, we are going to say buy. Buy is our infinitive verb, but when we put it into the past in the irregular form, it says bought. So it changes completely. Instead of being buyed, that's not correct, it's bought. Okay, so that's the difference between irregular verbs and regulars. Irregular change in their structure when they pass into past, and when the regular verbs pass to past, then those are in the end in ed. Make sense? So it is important to know these basic things: the verb to be at the beginning, I am, you are, he, she, it is, they are, we are, for us to know the basics, that we have regular verbs and we also have irregular verbs. Okay? And then when we change them into the different tenses, they can change. And we're going to be concentrating in regular verbs right now. We're going to be working with verb to be and with past. So the past, we're going to be working on the pronunciation because most verbs in the past, when we put them into regular form, normally when we are learning English, what we do is that we want to pronounce the E. For example, play it, mop it. No? We can want to say walk it. But in this case, when we're talking about regular verbs in the past, we are not gonna pronounce the E. Okay? So you're going to repeat with me. We're going to do the verbs in past form, regular form. Ready? Walk, walked. Walk, walked. Okay? Play, played. Play, played. Okay? Makes sense? And there are more of them. So let's go ahead and do our list. Regular verbs. Let's pronounce them together so you know that how to pronounce different ones, okay? These verbs are going to be the ones that we're going to be working on, and you're going to have to listen how to pronounce them. Regular verb. So accept, accepted. We're going to do this. I'm going to say the word of the first block that I'm going to send to you, and you're going to be pronouncing it with me. Accept, accepted, accept, accepted, accept, accepted. Okay? Add, added, add, added. Admire, admired, admire, admired. Admit, admitted, admit, admitted. Advise, advised, advise, advised. Afford, afforded, afford, afforded. Agree, agreed, agree, agreed. Alert, alerted. Alert, alerted. Allow, allowed, allow, allowed. Okay, so I'm going to be sending you the first block of this into the platform so you can practice the pronunciation of the past verbs in regular form. So this way you're going to be practicing how to pronounce them and not pronounce them incorrectly. Okay, so we're going to be practicing and you're going to get better at it as much as you pronounce it, work on it so you can have more practice. Okay, so today we covered verbs, verb to be, we covered regular and irregular form, and we're starting with past verbs in the regular form. Okay, so hope you're having a good time learning. I hope this is helpful for you. I'm going to be leaving links and more resources for you to find out, and also you're going to be seeing in the computer or in the screen more definitions. Okay, so see you in the next one. Bye bye.